Tonight on Crossing the River.
We're at the Peterborough Theatre Guild in Peterborough, Ontario. This is where local thespians come to tread the boards and show off their dramatic flair. It's also supposedly the home of a ghost called Chappie. That's his name affectionately at the Theatre Guild. Some people believe he hasn't left.
Welcome to the Peterborough Theatre Guild.
The building that now houses the Peterborough Theatre Guild was once the St. Luke's Anglican Church. Unfortunately, in 1959, a fire broke out that ended up gutting the building. There's rumors that are going around that speculate that a priest may have actually died in that fire. There's even speculation that the priest may have set the fire himself. After the fire, the building sat empty and unused until the 60s. The Theatre Guild was incorporated in 1965, and then they purchased the building in 1966. And then on November 4th, 1967, the Guild Hall was declared officially open, and the building has functioned as a theatre ever since. Despite the many changes that the building went through, it retained at least one thing from its days as a church, and that was its caretaker. A man by the name of Cliff Chapman, or Chappie as he was known, was the caretaker at the church for many years. And he lived next door to the building, and he loved the building. So once it became a theater, he stayed on as the caretaker. And although he's passed away a while ago, there's some that believe that his spirit is still protecting the building that he loves.
I only knew him by Chappie, but I think his name was Clifford Chapman. Chappie was the caretaker of the old St. Luke's Anglican Church. Lived next door in what was the rectory. And when the church moved, Chappie stayed behind. I think they found, well, he was getting close to retirement anyway, and he kind of adopted the Theatre Guild, or the Theatre Guild adopted him. But he would stroll over, and eventually they made him caretaker here. He was probably one of the gentlest, kindest, sweetest men I ever met in my life, and he always had a funny story to tell. He had a heart as big as all get out. He was just a wonderful guy. I can't even remember when he started here. I joined the Guild in October 1968, and he was there then. We were incorporated in 1965, so I think he kind of came along with the building. Although he'd come to see every show. I don't think he missed one the whole time he was here. Oh, I don't know that it's a legend. For me, it was shortly after he passed away. And we had moved the wardrobes upstairs to where they are now. And I was busy tidying up or working on a show, I can't remember which. And I was coming down the stairs with an armful of costumes. I got to the bottom of the stairs, and he was standing there, and it never even occurred to me. I just said, "Oh, hi, Chappie," and carried on, went into the dressing rooms, and then stopped and thought, wait a minute, did I see what I think I saw? And when I came out, he was gone. I think I saw him once after that. Now, there are other people that saw him and had a conversation with him for longer than that.
I can tell you the Don story. Don was a stage manager for a play a long time ago. And it was late at night, early in the morning. Rehearsals had finished. And he was sitting on the stage just relaxing. And he heard one of the doors at the back of the auditorium open, and this little man with a cane and a cap came walking in and started talking to him about how busy a stage manager was at this time of a production. And they had a short conversation, and Don looked away and turned back again, and the man was gone. And several years later, he saw a picture in the green room, and that was the man. His name was Chappie, his name was Cliff Chapman, and he is our friend.
No, like I say, he was a gentle, sweet man, and everybody loved him. Chappie couldn't hurt anybody. And if there are such things as benevolent ghosts, I guess he's one. They certainly are very pleased that we remember him as we do, because he's very affectionately known as Chappie around here, and they're quite proud of him.
After Gwen was done telling us about her experiences with Chappie, Glenn took us on a tour of the Theatre Guild.
Come with me. This is the ladies' wardrobe, with dresses and blouses and skirts and hats and everything from every kind of conceivable style and size that you can imagine. And in the men's wardrobe, there are shirts and ties and pants and a million suits of all descriptions. Studio A is used for rehearsals, for parties, for sewing bees, and you'll see back here are some of the costumes that were made for La Cage aux Folles a couple of years ago. These costumes were all made in this room, and they're spectacular. And they were on stage for 5 minutes. Studio B is set up for a rehearsal. We rehearse in here. We build sets in here. We store furniture of all kinds in here. The workshop, complete with a paint shop, every conceivable tool that is ever needed to put a play set together is in this room, from various saws to drill press and so on and so forth. This is a flat storage area.
This is an area you said some people get spooked in.
I guess they do. I don't, but this is the area that bothers some people. Next is the lobby. This is the lobby. And there is a bit of the history of the Guild. From the burnt out church to, I think there's a picture of the first production there. This is the upper lobby. And up this ladder is the sound and light booth. And this is the theater. 232 seats, plus room for 2 wheelchairs.
Kathy and I decided to tackle the theater first. This is where the majority of the claims come from, so we thought it would be the best place to start.
This is Kathy and Scott, and we're starting our first vigil in the actual theater. So this is the set of their latest production, and this is where Don White was sitting when he said, it's just in here about. And one of the doors opened at the back of the theater, and he saw what he believes was Chappie walk into the theater and down, and he had a conversation with him. Let's go sit in Chappie's seat.
Fair enough. See, and the seat's open.
Oh my God!
Like I said, this seems to happen.
That's something that happens?
Yeah, that was one of the stories I heard when I was first introduced to the ghosts here. One of my first productions back in 2005 was that his chair was always in the open position. And I also heard some people say that they'd be walking down the aisle and it would flip down in front of them and kind of trip them up a little bit. Well, now, whether or not that's true, who knows, right?
Well, why don't
But
you
it's down
sit
right now.
Yeah. Why don't you sit there and I'll sit in the one next to it.
Sure.
There's also bats in this theater.
Yes, I've seen bats many times during performances, during rehearsals. It's always at the most inopportune time when you can't do anything about it and they're flying around your head. It's awesome. Good times.
Isn't it good luck when you have a bat flying in the production? Isn't that?
I
heard
don't know, maybe.
So here we are in the theater, EVP session. Is there anybody here with us tonight?
Just heard a sound behind us. Chappie, I'm in your seat. Is that all right? Yeah, but I think it's one of the fans. It's got a thing that dangles down from it.
Chappie, are you still here at the Theatre Guild?
No, what?
There's a sound from back there.
Behind us again?
This is Drew and Michelle, Studio B.
Is anybody with us tonight?
So there's a light that flashes over there. Just to note it, so that if we happen to see something out of our peripheral vision,
Okay.
that's not paranormal. Chappie?
Are you with us? Apparently you've spent a lot of time here in the past and still spending time here?
It's a really cool place. I could see why someone would want to come back, hang out here.
Absolutely. Especially if you spent all those years here. The history, imagine?
Mm-hmm.
The stories the old guy would have?
Yeah. Would you come tell us some stories, Chappie? I'd love to hear them.
Even just make some noise and let us know you're here.
We just heard a sound from the left.
That would be the stairway coming down.
It sounded like...
A tin ashtray, like one of those old-fashioned ashtrays, like the lid fell or something?
Yeah. So I was gonna say like a metallic sound.
Yeah, like a metal plate or something along that line.
Is anybody here? Chappie, is that you?
It was pretty quiet in Studio B until we did hear a metallic sound, and we decided we should track that down and try to figure out where that was coming from.
That's the chairs, metal chairs. That's not what I heard. Is that what you heard?
No.
That's too much.
No. There's
What about this metal cabinet opening?
Hey.
That's it.
That is what it was. Well, I mean, that's what it
The
sounded
sound
like,
was,
yeah.
'Cause that's exactly what I heard.
Yep. Yep. That's what it sounded like.
Perfect. That's it for me. So now, what did that?
Well,
I can't see anything that would make that move. It's not the type of thing that would swing. You have to actually move it.
Yeah. There's no drafts in here, and it would take more than a little draft to close that anyways, to make that move. So what caused it, we're not too sure. Assuming that's what it was.
We're only here for a little while longer. This is your chance.
Maybe he's over talking to Kathy and Scott right now. Visiting them in the theater.
Well, hopefully.
Scott and I did a vigil in the theater itself, which is a really neat room. It's very cavernous, and we were really hoping, we sat right in Chappie's seat and his wife's seat that they have designated for them still in the theater. We heard a couple of noises behind us, but couldn't track them down. It wasn't like footsteps or anything, it was just sort of a creaking noise. And then we heard a lot of noises coming from the stage, but it was bats, really loud bats.
Chappie, we understand that you showed yourself to at least one person here before. We're really hoping that you can show yourself to us as well. We're specifically here to meet you.
Whoa, what was that? I bet it was a bat. Yep.
Definitely a bat. Okay. So we probably solved some of the noises that we're hearing towards the stage. It's definitely a bat.
A pretty big frickin' bat. Oh, that was loud. I like bats.
I rescued many bats from here, spared them a horrible death. There was like a whole family of them living in one of the makeup tables. It was ridiculous. I didn't know. I put my hand in thinking there was one. I could see it, grabbed it, and it was actually like 3. So the one I had in my hand was fine, but the other 2 took off. Good times. There was like 6 or 7 in total. It was crazy.
You're like a Batman.
Whoa. The bats are very active now. Is there any bat that would like to speak to us right now?
Let's not tell Mitchell about the bat. Just see what she does.
You know, Chappie, there's some attached to this place that say that you don't really exist, at least not as a ghost. That it was all just made up to create mystique. Yep. Now is a perfect opportunity for you to prove that you're still here. All you need to do is make a sound or tap one of us or kill a bat.
Don't kill the bat.
By killing a bat, I meant pet a bat. We're not making fun of you, Chappie. We're here with the most respect. One of those bats is pissed. I want to get on film us closing this chair. So if it's down,
Okay, right.
when the next team comes in, then we know something fishy. All right.
Chair is closed.
Chappie's chair is closed. Let's see if it stays that way.
Haven't heard any more sounds yet, so if it was Chappie, he's just playing with us. Or just checking us out, deciding whether he wants to join us, maybe. There's a lot of people here that have a lot of good memories of your times here at the theater. I remember when you were here and looking after the place really well. And I guess a lot of them think that you're still here looking after the place really well.
I'm starting to feel.
Did you hear something?
Yeah. Did you hear?
Yeah, over to the left. Again, the left. But this time it wasn't a metallic sound, it was more like a shuffle kind of.
Is that you, Chappie? That door's open. Can you close it for us?
Oh, we left the door open.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe that sound we heard earlier was up the stairwell then. I was thinking the door was closed in, so it wouldn't have been as loud as we
It
heard.
sounded like it banged around
Yeah.
in there, but behind the wall.
Is there like a, one of those cigarette things or trash can or something out there?
I should have got that other flashlight. I'm just checking the hallway here. There's nothing that would have made that sound out here.
Hmm.
But right here at the door is a recycle bin.
Is there anything in there?
Yeah, with maybe half a dozen cans.
Oh, really?
So I don't know. It could have very easily been the noise.
We never did find out what that sound was, but it definitely sounded like a shuffling movement to me.
Drew and I went to Studio A for our vigil together, and it was really interesting. We heard a lot of sounds that really seemed to be tracking around the room, and we were trying to follow them and figure out what was making them. We couldn't track anything down, but it was very distinctly moving from one spot to another right around the room.
So Drew and Kathy in Studio A on the top floor of the Theatre Guild. And this is where costumes are made, and this is where after parties are held. And yeah, so here we are.
Imagine there's been a lot of parties in here over the years. Mm-hmm. Did you ever come to any of the parties, Chappie? You ever spend any time in this room?
Is there anybody here with us besides Chappie?
Kathy and I heard a light tapping sound. Would you please do it again? I've heard a lot of stories of a gentleman named Chappie. Kind of a historical fellow around here, and we were thinking how it would be really cool if we had some kind of evidence to take back to match all the stories.
I'm hearing some sounds. I don't know if they're...
Right here beside me, I'm hearing some definite sounds of movement.
From where?
Right to my left. There's somebody here, and I can just feel something. If there's anybody here, please let us know. I'm feeling there's something in this corner.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah.
We just heard a really loud noise here in Studio B, over by the piano.
I mean you no harm. Kathy's same intentions as mine. We'd just like to record the goings on in this building. And I definitely feel something in this corner. And I've heard several sounds. If you could repeat it one more time, just to confirm the sounds I heard before.
Right over there.
Right here.
Whoa.
It's right in here. Where are the boxes? Yeah, box.
Right over there.
Right here.
Whoa.
It's right in here. Where are the boxes? Yeah, box.
Right over there.
Right here.
Whoa.
It's right in here. Where are the boxes? Yeah, box there.
Yep.
That's where it's right up there. It's over by the next one.
Yeah.
That's you. Could you come across from the door towards me?
We just want to talk. We're hearing sounds moving around this room. It's like something is going from one spot to another around the room. Come closer to us, please.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
A movement that we were hearing going around the room, it got to about here, right? And then it just kind of stopped.
It started here like a piano.
Can you move something over here just to let us know you're here?
Alright, Michelle and I are in the workshop areas. This is the cutting room, I guess, where they do all the woodwork. Don't know if there's any claims of activity down here. Nobody seemed to have any stories. But, I don't know, there's a lot of power tools down here, a lot of electricity. So maybe we'll get some. Michelle and I went to the workshop. And again, before we went there, there wasn't really any claims of activity down there, but we thought it'd be a nice place to, you know, just check it out. I'm glad we did. Maybe on the step here. Anybody down here with us? Well then, a little bit of a tap over there. Another one.
Coming up on Crossing the River.
That's not me.